Not enough time for work and personal life? Unfortunately, we all have 24 hours in a day, so if you want to double your time, you have to manage yourself to fit within those 24 hours and do the things that are important to you. Why is it important to get more time? Well, this seems to be an obvious question. However, sometimes we feel busy and there's a lot going on in our lives. The ironic part here is that despite all the efforts, being busy all the time, we get too little and nothing gets done in the first place. What's wrong with this picture? Simply, we don't use our time wisely. That's why we don't get much done. Even if you feel busy all the time, we get trapped into doing insignificant and small things first that are not relevant to our current project in the first place. I call this the shining syndrome. When we see something shiny like a new idea or new piece of information, new tools of doing things, the next trend in the marketplace, updates, modifications of old software, and all sorts of new things that emerge out of nowhere, we get into the trap of trying to fit in all those shiny pieces together so that we can have something to work with. In reality, we don't know the bigger picture or the blueprint of how everything aligns together, and no shiny piece will fit into that category. In other words, in order to put together all pieces of the puzzle, you need to know what the puzzle would look like in the first place so that you would know where each part would fit together. If we get off on tangents, getting from one trend to the next without taking full advantage of them, it is exactly like if you see a shiny spot as a part of the puzzle and not knowing where it really fits into your current project. We get sidetracked by it and eventually neither the shiny object did any good nor the initial project was completed. We get into the circle of doing it regularly and that's often very frustrating. Here are some ideas to double your time and productivity in the next 24 hours. First, focus on your strengths, not on your weaknesses. It is often less than 5% of what you can do that accounts for 95% of the results you get. If you determine those areas that you're really good at it, skills that you've developed over the years, you're going to finish your project much faster and more efficiently. Second, delegate your weaknesses. If it takes 8 hours to add a video on YouTube and audio effects on that video, then you would want to outsource this technical stuff to other people. You want to borrow other people's expertise and skills to get a job done. There are great sites for that purpose where you can only pay for results. You don't want to sacrifice your time for money. Instead, use money to free up your time. 3. Fish for whales, not for small fish. If you get 2,000 pieces of small fish, you're going to fill a basket. But if you catch one whale, you're going to fill many baskets. Remember that. Look for tasks that may look like whales and do them first. Don't even consider the insignificant stuff or the small fish. 4. Catch those whales in the morning. When you wake up, usually we're fresh and there's not that much in our mind. The way you begin your day determines the rest of it. The more you get done at the beginning of the day, the more time you will have during the day. The first meal, the first exercise, the first task sets the tone for the entire day. Choose them carefully before you go to sleep at night and do them first as you wake up in the morning. 5th, doing the right task versus doing the task right. You can do any task right, but if it is not worth your time after you finish it, there was no point of starting that task in the first place because you're not getting any substantial value out of it. Identify the tasks that are worth your time and neglect the rest. How you do this? By asking yourself the following question. What would be the impact of completing that task? If the answer is nothing, you want to neglect that. So we want to think before we do anything. That's going to save us a tremendous amount of time in starting things that are not really important to us in the first place. Tasks of low priorities have no consequences upon completion. Remember that. Now, take those 5 tips and use them in order to see more available time for yourself because that's what it takes to do it. If you want to go to the next level, I'm going to show a video on my blog that's going to give you exact techniques that I use to get more productive time for myself. So visit my blog at doubletimetodaytime.com, that is doubletimetodaytime.com, and I'll see you there.